Hi guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Preston match review. Now, as you can tell by my tone and by my demeanour, I'm nowhere near as bubbly or as optimistic as I was in the preview to this game. Largely because of, not just the result in itself. I think Preston were probably value for their point. But performances for a lot of the players were abysmal. We'll put it that way. Changes I wasn't particularly happy with, or at least the subs during the game I wasn't particularly happy with. The referee, which of course this isn't the reason for the result, but the referee had an absolute shocker. Preston, who I think for a good 60-65 minutes had a lot of respect for their performance in the way that they played, but then they just turned to tin pot tactics and time wasting and shit, and I despise that from any team, and I try not to mention it in my reviews because it's a waste of time moaning about it, but I think it was probably the worst I've seen from a team in a very long time. And I watched Sunderland play in League One for years, as a lot of you guys did as well. And some of the shit that they were throwing out was just fucking ridiculous. I mean, at one point they tried to sneak an extra man on the pitch just to waste more time, and it was mental. But the shit they were coming up with, which fortunately after their largest phase of time wasting, we did come up with a belting equaliser. But yeah, I'm not going to blame everything on their time wasting and referees and shit like that, because the performance, above all else, was abysmal. So as you can see on screen here, this is the line that we went with. We went with a 4-4-2, which at first I was pleased to see. It looked attacking. It looked like we're going to go for it, which I guess technically we did. However, the one thing I always complain about, or my biggest concern when we do play 4-4-2, is it leaves us a bit open and a bit vulnerable in the middle, and it basically asks for attacks to a degree, or at least we know we're going to concede chances when we play 4-4-2. But on the flip side, that's just what it is with a 4-4-2. On the flip side to that, we're going to make chances, and we did. The only in 10 minutes or so, I feel like it was very much in Preston's favour. Not to say that they dominated, but they had a couple of really good chances. They slipped Potts through down the left-hand side. All they had to do was slide it across to Reece, who was in the middle of the goal, to tap it in. But 09 made an outstanding block to keep it level. But yeah, only in 10 minutes they had a couple of chances here and there. I just felt like we just couldn't string a pass together. There was just gaps all over the place where they were just... And the movement off the ball, for me, it was just it was horrendous. It was so slow and laboured, to get from A to B, what should just be one pass to go straight dag to another, we do a really slow, laboured one. And I know that it makes it so easy for them to defend and just shuffle across. Watson on that left-hand side as well, of course, he got his first start in a long time. Egypt looked rusty as out. He looked so rusty. Some of his first touches were horrendous. He had a really good chance as well. It was dinked to him. We're on the right-hand side, managed to dink it back across goal. He has a free header at the back post and he's hit it wide. Mayenda driving forward at one point. It's 2-on-1. Mayenda and Easter, essentially, I think it might have been Porteous, I'm not too sure, who was the one last defender left. And he was kind of in no man's land, the defender. He didn't know whether to go and mark Wilson or to go and defend and go straight head on with Mayenda. So I can understand why Mayenda went for goal, because the defender was giving him a little bit of space. But Mayenda, instead of giving it or even hitting the target, he just smashed it straight at the defender. So that's another chance gone. So we're having loads of these little half chances here and there. And then right on the stroke half time, Troy Hume does brilliantly well to nick it off the left back, and then just puts a beautifully weighted curled ball in. Isidore 6 yards out, totally free header, heads it wide, and it was just so wasteful. Like there's the little tiny little chances where we try and slide Isidore in, and just before he could pull the trigger, he'd fall over. Little things like that, but just in general, we were just so poor. It was abysmal to watch. Second half comes out, it was more of the same. It felt like Preston came out really well. They started to control the game. We just looked... Like I said, we're really open in the middle when it's a 4-4-2. But we just don't help ourselves off the ball. The movement wasn't there. It was so lethargic and predictable and boring. But then Rodgers makes changes. And I thought that for me, at least for a while, I think it should have just been MUNDLE for Watson, and then just go for it from there. So we have a bit more pace on the wings. But he pulls off Mayenda, who, yes, no one was having a great game, but he's threatening, he's in form, leave him on the pitch, but he brings him off, brings Rig on, and that really frustrated me. And then we weren't really making many chances, and they had several chances, albeit from distance, sort of pot shots here and there. But then it does fall to Reece. He does very, very well to hold off his man, and he's 25 yards out, something like that. And he pings it into the bottom left-hand corner from distance. Not much Patterson can do about that one. 1-0, and Preston deserved it. And then only then did we start to have any kind of enthusiasm. It's like it takes us to concede a goal for us to think, right, let's go for it here. Do you know what I mean? Like, then we had the burst and overlap, like Sirkin in behind MUNDLE going for it. Because up until that point, no one was doing anything. They were just so predictable in their attacking ways and just so easy to read. But then the string of Tim Pot shit out. No, it wasn't even shit house, it was just blatant cheating. And several times, should I say, throughout the game, by the way, a good 4, 5, maybe even 6 times, the referee stopped the play because there was a man down, and it wasn't for a head injury. We'd literally be on the attack, and a Preston player would just look and think, no, I don't like the look of this, and just sit down, and the referee just stopped the play. It was fucking mental. Never seen anything like it in my life. And then this one, I think we put a ball in the box, they cleared it away, come back to us, we were just about to put the ball back into the box after it was cleared away by Porteous, but then Porteous goes down, referee stops it immediately, but then as soon as the ref stops it, Porteous looks up and goes, oh yeah, he stops it now, gets up, he's totally fine, and just as we're about to play again, then their right back goes down, and then Mepham literally grabs hold of their right back and tries to take him off the pitch. When he's off the pitch, he's absolutely fine, he's clearly fit, he's literally stood up, he's wrestling everyone to get back onto the pitch, to lie down, and the referee's allowing it to happen. It's absolute bollocks. Then whilst he's lying down, wasting time, Preston stop making subs, but they make one sub, and then another, and it's just to waste time. They're not doing it all at once. It's one and then the other. All while there's other players that are rolling back onto the pitch. They're wrestling to get onto the pitch to lie down. 7, 8, 9 minutes have passed. The ball hasn't been kicked. And for nothing. The referee just stood there watching Preston time waste, and just to really just dig it in, to really take the piss. When we were about to restart play, the assistant has to shout over to the referee and says, there's 12 Preston players on the pitch. They were literally about to play with 12 players on the pitch, so that they had to tell them to get off. But what really was satisfying is as soon as this 10 minutes of absolute blatant Tim Pot cheating had finished, we buried an absolutely sublime equaliser. MUNDLE on the left-hand side cuts him from left to right, and he just dips it into the top right-hand corner. Absolutely beautiful. And from there, we're just throwing the kitchen sink at it. Half chances here and there, but we just can't put it in the back of the net to try and get a win. But yeah, it's really, really frustrating because Sheffield United drew, as did Burnley. So both teams above us dropping points, but we just don't take advantage, and people keep saying, when we're winning games, saying, oh no, because Sheffield United are going to win all the games, Burnley are going to win all their games. There's always going to be twists and turns, and there still is, to a degree. We're quite fortunate that they've both dropped points, but it's just another opportunity for us to push on, and we haven't taken it. And I just can't believe how half-arsed the majority of that team looked there. Neil in possession, the amount of times he was just doing 1-2s with Preston players. When we're trying to break forward, it's a simple pass. He hits it straight at a Preston man. Fortunately for him, it'll ricochet straight back into his path. So we'll get the ball, do it again, and it's just, Jesus Christ, the simple things they look so laboured. Job as well. At points in the game, I'm watching him. They're stood still off the ball, just absolutely static and just looking around and pointing like, yeah, you should pass it there. Yeah, you should pass it there. Like, no, you come and get involved. You come for the ball. You do it. Do you know what I mean? There was one time in the first half, which if you watch the game, you'll know what I mean. It was almost 20 seconds. Trey Hume was about to take a throw in, and everyone stood still. And he had no one to throw it to. No fucker wanted it. It was just mental. It's like there was no urgency for the players. It's like they didn't know and they don't realise that there is an opportunity here for us to try and push for the top 2, which I know, again, and I keep repeating myself, it isn't massively likely. But still, I don't know, guys. I'm sorry, I know this isn't much of a review and it's absolute stark contrast to my usual sort of demeanour, but it's just so frustrating to throw points away like that. Again, Preston, they were valued for their point and I had absolute respect for their performance and the shift that they put in, but then as soon as he started doing that absolute Tim Pot bollocks, I just thought, go fuck yous, man. Oh, God, so frustrating. 1-1. I'm going to leave it there, guys, because I could sit here rant and rage for a long time. Again, apologies, I know it's not too much of an in-depth review. I've just moaned, basically, but it is what it is. It isn't good enough. Absolutely isn't good enough. And the 4-4-2, on paper it looks good, but it just doesn't work. And or at least we had to be so much more clinical, which is just a word that I don't associate with Sunderland this season, unfortunately. But either way, let us know in the comments down below. What did you think of the game? And do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? But yeah, do us a favour, hit the like button on the video. It really does help out. It'll put a smile on my face somewhat, I would think. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, take care, guys. Stay jammy. Keep the faith. How are the lads?